was in the playground the other day and I was having a discussion with some mums about fussy eating. Now, I'm very lucky because my children have a wide range of food, but these mums, I feel, are really struggling and have everyday challenges with helping their kids eat. And I thought you could use your Fuss 5 this week and talk about fussy eating.
Thanks, Fiona. Look, to be honest, fussy eating is one of those things that it's heartbreaking to watch your child, not eat, to not get the nutrients that you know they need. I think, I'm not a parent myself, and but I see so many parents and so many families torn apart by how hard it is to get kids to eat and how stressful that can be, because it's like, that shouldn't be a hard thing to do. Just put the food in your mouth and swallow it. Understand the fact that you have to eat food. But, for some of the kids that we work with, and some of the kids that are probably, parents are listening to this video right now, it's not that simple. Dr. Toomey, who I've learned the SOS program from, talks about the fact that there are 32 steps in just getting food to your mouth. And that's a sensory 32 steps. It's not the motor control of picking up knives and forks and coordinating two hands together and posturally sitting up at the table. That's just with our eyes, our smell, our sense of touch, and then oral texture. It's an incredibly complicated thing to do, eating. And I think the moment that families realise just how challenging it is for that child, and that the more we allow that child to experience the really small steps in eating and eating successfully, that the kids start to go, alright, so food's not so scary. Suddenly mum and dad aren't so stressed. Food must be okay. And parents are getting stressed because your child isn't eating. But the kids are seeing that stress level anyway. They're comparing whenever there's food around, mum and dad are stressed. And when mum and dad get stressed, it's usually something's dangerous or something's bad and I need to become stressed and I need to become anxious. And man, when you do that, no one's hungry. So, my 5 tips for fussy eaters is set up the environment for success. Make sure kids have got something underneath their feet so their feet aren't dangling. Make sure they're comfortably sitting at a table that's not up here around their, around their eyeballs, that they've got something comfortable that's the right size for them. And, once you've done all of that and you've made the environment physically support the body, then you've got half a chance to put these next strategies in place. Okay, my second tip would be around routine. Have a routine around dinner time, and not you must sit at the table and eat all your greens until you've, then you can leave the table with your brothers and sisters. That's not a routine I'm talking about. I'm talking about have a transition into the dinner table. Make sure that kids know that it's not play, stop play, eat dinner. It's, we do a game or an activity and we might do some bear walks up the hallway to wash our hands before we come back down to the table. We might be involved in setting up the table with the placemats and the cutlery if kids are slightly older. If there does need to be some more motivation and some more happiness brought into mealtime, then do something that makes the whole family happy before you sit down for dinner. Okay, find that routine in that transition, getting into the dinner table. That really means that it's not a stressful event anymore, that it is something that kids are already willing to participate in. Okay. My third tip is drop the expectation around eating and around food. I'm by no means saying stop encouraging kids to eat the calories they need to survive, but what I am saying is if there is a food that a child is completely refusing to eat, don't force them to eat it and put it in their mouth. Expect that they can manage it on the table or on someone else's plate. Once they're comfortable at that step, move it into a plate that's a little bit closer to them. And then ask them to put it on their own plate. And guys, this might take weeks or months to build food up this way, but the minute your child gets stressed at the dinner table or around food, their hunger system turns off. Their appetite ceases to exist, and there is nothing worse than trying to force a child to eat when they're not hungry. Because then you have none of the neurological signals, you have none of the chemical or the hormonal signals telling you to eat. So you're trying to get this child to do an activity that should be enjoyable, it should be pleasurable, it should be life-sustaining, and it's a challenge and it's stressful. So that's my tip number 3. Go with the expectation level that your child can feel successful at, and keep nudging that bar forward so they're constantly going for that next little bit of success that's just outside their comfort zone, not throwing them off a cliff and expecting them to eat the food on the way down. Okay, my tip number 4 for fussy eating is reward every single attempt. And I'm not saying buy the kid a Lego set every time he sniffs food or he touches it on his nose. What I'm saying is acknowledge the fact that your child is trying. Acknowledge every single attempt they make at that Just Right challenge level for them. You know, if you can see that it's a challenge for that child to put a scoop or 1 pea on their plate, hey, I'm so proud of you, you just put a pea on your plate, well done. You know, be specific with the praise. I have an emotion about what you just did, and what you just did was this. Can you know, congratulations. No, okay, do it again. No following up straight away and saying, see, I told you you could do it. It's a simple acknowledgement of, congratulations, I have this emotion towards you, I'm proud, I'm happy, I'm amazed, you surprised me, because you did something specific. You put a pea on your plate, you licked that piece of orange, you put that piece of pasta in your mouth. Who cares if they spat it out? They put a piece of pasta in their mouth. Go with the positive. And what that does is it reinforces all the behaviours that we want to see at mealtime. We don't discuss the things that the child, did as a coping strategy. We want to focus on things they did really well and the emotion that it gave you as a parent or you as a carer or you as a sibling. You know, when you've got older siblings that can model really successful behaviour around food and actually understand that progression, they're fantastic partners in eating. Okay, my final tip around food and fussy eaters is have a finishing routine. Have an end to mealtime. Look, I'm not a fan of making kids sit at the dinner table for 3 hours to finish their meal. Make sure there is something on offer at the dinner table that you know your child will eat to get the calories that they need to function on the next day, but at the same time presenting them side by side a preferred food and a challenging food, or a preferred food and a food the rest of the family is eating. But please don't ever use the preferred food as a follow-up or as because it will become a reward. It will be, if I don't eat these things that are challenging, Mum gets me a whole plate of macaroni and cheese. Just serve them simultaneously, serve them together, and have the same expectation that you will approach this food, whether it's mac and cheese or whether it's, a beef mince sauce. But I, as a person who is here having a meal with you, expect that you will approach either one of these two foods in the same way, and that you will get to that comfort zone and just go one step further. So great, if that's eating mac and cheese till the cows come home, do it. Fantastic, go for it. If the spaghetti bolognese sits on a plate that's just next to you and you kind of have a bit of a look at it, you might pick at it occasionally and you might move the bowl and see how it wobbles, great. You interacted with that food. You explored the colour, you explored the shape, you explored things that make that food challenging. And then the next night we have it, which is not going to be the next night, but it might be 2 or 3 nights later, we're just going to push you just a little bit more and suggest that, you get a fork and you move around. Hey, last night we explored that it moved when we wobbled the bowl. What do you reckon would happen if we put the fork in it? Alright, and build up that way. Now look, fussy eating is something that is complex, and there can be medical conditions that make it harder, whether it's oral motor skills, gastroesophageal disorders, gut issues. Look, there are many medical and more significant impacts on eating, and I would definitely suggest that all parents that are worried about their child's eating or the nutrition to contact their GP, a nutritionist, a dietitian. Make sure you're consulting people that can help you, okay? And the GP is often the best place to start. Occupational therapy and speech pathology can also support the practice and the changes in food and food behaviour, as can psychologists as well. So look guys, I know there's a whole stack of information I've just given you there and a whole stack of people that you can go and talk to, but look, it really is about finding the right match for you and your child and getting the support that you need, because you don't have to do it alone, and to be honest, you don't have to keep putting up and keep living day to day with these food challenges there. Okay, there is work and there is practice involved, but you know, you can make a change. So jump on our website, have a look at the links in our referral partners, download some more information and a few checklists around fussy eating, and look, if you'd love to have a chat, by all means give me a call on the number below, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about your child or even yourself, and the difficulties that you have with eating, and look, all the very, very best. Have a lovely day, and I hope to talk to you soon. See you later.